So hello everybody, it is me, Demetra and I am sitting here with Walter of Verbal Herb, and as the money talks, it is Wealth Wednesdays where we discuss things that deal with finances and things like that. Of course, we always welcome you to throw your questions in the comment section, and now you can come on live by clicking the link when I give you the prompt to do so. So Walter is our resident financial guru, if you will. He has been in the financial services industry for nearly 30 years, advising everybody, well, I won't say everybody you can think of, but from people like celebrities and to everyday people and dope people such as you and I. So anyway, today we are going to start talking about what went wrong between Coach Ed Reed and Bethune-Cookman University. Of course, you guys have probably seen a lot talked about that within the last couple of days or so. So we are going to get into that. As I said too as well, we do have a link pinned in the comment section on YouTube for everyone who wants to come on and briefly state, your opinion, what's going on and all of that. So who do we have on here? We have Landon Price. How you doing? He's here to stay. Perfect momentum to now protest for our K through 12 with ban of African American studies in Florida. And I want to ask you, Landon, if you are on here still, have you actually looked at what they're proposing to teach there in Florida? Just asking. And Abdul, how are you doing? He says, I stand with Coach Ed Reed and the students. And Pudge Nice, how are you? Evening to you as well. OG Fitzroy, how are you? Says, what's good, sister and brother? Everything is good. No complaints at all. And if we have some, you don't want to hear about it anyway. So anyway, Walter, what say you before we get started?
No, I'm just interested in talking about it. I saw the video on when he was, talking about the job. So I haven't followed the full story, but I'm interested in finding out what happened. And of course, we got some money tips as usual.
Absolutely. So who else came on here? Dr. Chris, what's going on with you? You say, can you give a rundown of what happened? Yep, I will do my best because there's a lot going on, right? But I'll do my best. And Brother Gilbert, how are you? So, all right, I'm going to put up a video. I think that kind of explains it for the most part, I guess. Well, actually, let me play his video first. Okay, so of course, Ed Reed was supposed to be coaching at Bethune-Cookman there in Daytona Beach, Florida, but that did not go through. Doesn't sound like he even coached at all. I guess they were still trying to work out the details of his contract. Don't quote me, but that's from what I understand. Bethune-Cookman is a Christian university that was originally, back in the day, founded in 1904, and is partially the namesake of Mary McLeod Bethune, who was an educator and a civil rights activist, just to say the least, right? So anyway, he was going to coach there, and then this transpired. I think this happened over the weekend. He did a live stream, and this is what happened.
Motherfuckers! Yeah, I curse. And y'all done heard curse words before. And they got parents in here. And no, I don't want to leave. And like I told you, I want all these recruits. But they got some corrupt people in this world, some evil people that don't care about kids like I do. So I want y'all to hear the truth from me. I ain't withdrawing my name. I got the receipts. They got all kinds of stuff going on around here. Hoarding these buildings with nothing but trash in them. You understand me? And Dion was right. And I know I'm right. And they got some people in here who be snitching to their ass. And I work amongst Judas as Jesus walked with him. And I ain't have a problem with it. Because even Jesus prevailed. Sir. And what God got for you, no man can take. Sir.
Okay, so as y'all saw there, that was kind of I guess the video that kind of kicked it off. And here's a more in-depth explanation as to what has transpired before and I guess after that. So check it out.
Campus of Bethune-Cookman University in Daytona Beach today. Those students are upset that the university ended contract negotiations with prospective head football coach and former NFL great Ed Reed.
As West 2's Claire Metz reports, they think it's retaliation for comments that Reed recently made on social media the students believe are the truth.
Hey! Hundreds of Bethune-Cookman University students sent a message to the administration, to the board, to anyone who would listen with a peaceful but vocal campus protest.
We voice concerns, we send emails all the time, no responses, so this is what it has come to.
It came to that after the university broke off negotiations with prospective head football coach Ed Reed. Reed had recently taken to social media, often using profanity to criticize physical conditions here at BCU, even claiming his office wasn't clean. Reed later apologized, but the university decided this weekend to reopen their search. While students are petitioning to bring Reed back, they say it's time they speak out too.
We have a voice.
BCU student Tyrone Franklin Jr. is a quarterback on the football team. Disappointed the university dropped Ed Reed.
I think him showing that what we're going through as a student body should be shown. Many people has been saying this for a long time.
Students shared pictures of what they say are some campus concerns, including broken doors, mold in dorm rooms, even growing on stuffed animals.
The first couple months I was here, I literally was sick because of the mold. My shower makes my skin break out because, they don't really care about the health of their students.
Many here told us Ed Reed spoke the truth about issues at the university, and they showed up, even marched in the street to have it all reheard. At the end of the day, they say this is what they want university leaders to respond to.
What is the next step? How do we get this solved? What can they do to make this better for all of the students here?
In Daytona Beach, Volusia County, Claire Metz, WESH 2 News.
So as you saw there, the students have began to protest. For one, it doesn't sound like they want Ed Reed to be fired. They want him to be the coach. And they also say what he said in regards to the things that's going on there on the campus is true. Mold, trash, the campus not being up to par to accept students there. And so the interim president by the name of Dr. Lawrence Drake said this in partial to a letter that they put out on, I guess, the website. And he says, as we continue to observe him, being Ed Reed, we felt that his behavior was not aligned with the traditions of our founder, Dr. Mary McLone Bethune, and the university. So, of course, the university is a Christian university. Now, he was on an interview, and he said that, Ed Reed's cussing, and I guess some other times is playing music with profanity in it, does not align with their Christian values. And so that was, I guess, one of the reasons why they let him go. Of course, you guys know that it's an HBCU. I should say that if I haven't already. HBCUs struggle financially. I did a little research, and it says that in 2016, they had an endowment of $47 million, almost $48 million. It costs about $31,000 per year to attend the university, which is, expensive, right? It's up there with a lot of the other universities. And let's see here. They were also on probation for their accreditation in 2018, which cost them to lose for the 2 years, I guess, that they were on probation, about $28 million. And they were on probation for integrity, their governing board characteristics, financial resources. They were not in control of the finances, and they did not handle the financials, if you will, responsible. So sounds like they got their accreditation back. Also sounds like their nursing program was in some sort of trouble as well. So there's a lot going on there. Of course, some pundits and authors, or what do you call it, journalists rather, saying that Ed Reed should have handled it in a different way. He should have went to admin instead of going to his social media and airing out his concerns the way he did. Again, it doesn't sound like he had the contractual details sealed before all of that happened. And so a lot of people are saying that the university, the president, the board, or whoever are wrong in what they did to Ed Reed. And then again, there's those people who said that Ed Reed should have handled it in a different way. Also saying that some of the people should have known what he signed up for in regards to how HBCUs operate. They're usually financially strapped and have a whole lot of issues. Now, as you guys also heard, I saw the students say that they had mold and, different things going on in their rooms. One girl said that when she gets into the shower, her skin gets irritated, probably due to the mold. Now, it sounds like they had a flood from a hurricane that affected that campus, and they're still, trying to get up to par, but they are still taking the money of the students who expect to come to school that is, functioning at least for what they pay for, right? So I don't know. This is not the first time we've heard of an HBCU having some issues. Of course, not too long ago, we heard about Coach Deion Sanders with Jackson State University and all that went on there. And of course, we've heard about the amenities of HBCU, bringing into mind that of Howard University that also had mold and rats, roaches, and just a whole bunch of stuff going in and out of those dorms, to where the students protested and they slept on the lawn because they said, we're not going to sleep in there anymore until you guys get our university up to par. One last thing, Howard University is the alma mater of the Vice President Kamala Harris. And I don't know if she said a whole lot about the condition of her school. So anyway, we're going to get into it. Walter, you want me to get to you, or you want me to jump into the comment section first? Comment section first? Okay, got you. All right, so let's see who else came on here. Brother Reggie, what's going on? Jamarcus, how you doing? And Abdul, says, sometimes you got to do it like Coach Ed Reed expressed himself. Okay, and let's see here. You also say that's a good question. What happened to the money that Trump sent to these colleges? I mean, that is a good question. Let's see here. Yes, Brother Reggie, that is terrible. And Pudge Knight says they stole all that money, shaking my head. Yeah, I guess I don't know for sure that's what happened, but the fact that they're on probation for, financial issues, yeah, it kind of does make you wonder, right? And Gilbert said the problem with some of these universities is that the boards of these universities are corrupt and don't know how to run these universities. All they care about is money. They are mad that he aired their dirty laundry. If it were about the students, then it should be about the students. I totally agree. So you're also saying you stand with Ed Reed. You also say Christian values. That's funny. Yeah, I know, right? Yeah. Good old Christian values. Abdul says the students need to stand strong until they get rid of that administration. Yeah, it sounds like that board and the president, they're not really on the level. Gilbert also say, I feel sorry for our youth because we don't have any solid Black leadership, period. Exactly. And Jamarcus, you say. So none of the coaches use profanity. Okay, I'm sure that team sucks. Right? Like, what coach does not do that? I mean, there might be some, but most of them, use a word here or there. And Kev, how you doing? It says, and they kept sending stuff to Ukraine. Talk about the administration. And Arneva, how you doing? It says, Christian, what happened to the cleanliness next to godliness, right? You know how they do. They're not going to read the whole Bible, right? Gilbert says he gave a voice to the students who are actually dealing with those issues. The hell with airing the dirty laundry behind closed doors. He didn't take Deion's approach, but he did. He ain't Deion. That is true. And it sounds like I saw a video of, I guess, Deion and him were on a live somewhere. And it sounds like he, being Ed Reed, had talked to Deion, and Deion says, I feel you. I know what you're going through. So kind of sounds like he kind of co-signed some of it. And Abdul says cleanliness is next to godliness. Yes, it is. And Dr. Chris says, let me know when we can hit the link because I have some opinions on what you informed us. Okay, I'm going to let y'all know in about 10 minutes after Walter gives his opinion. I will open up the link so y'all can come on here. And Abdul says they talking about cursing. Cleanliness is next to godliness. Yep. Dr. Chris says, I've been to HBCU, predominantly white institutions and Ivy League, so I have a well-rounded perspective. Okay, well, I'm very interested. So stick around, please. I would like to hear what you have to say. And High Tech, how you doing? It says Ed could have went about it a better way. Jan Michael, how you doing? And you say, hey, greetings. So the campus was looking at him as a coach or another student. His behavior, I wouldn't accept him either. So you saying that would not be acceptable for you as well? And Brother Samuel, how you doing? It says, greetings. Did you see the interview that Roland Martin did with the interim president, alumni, associate members, and areas? Yes, I did. Someone sent it to me and I did watch it. It was a really good interview. And from what I can see, seems like the interim president, he's kind of on the shady side. He really couldn't fully explain why, they got rid of him. Sounds like it was a personal thing more than anything to me, Black America, how you doing? Good afternoon to you as well. And Landon, you say this all started because Disney is sponsored as BCU. What they are going to do, what is Walt Disney going to do for students body HBCUs? Yes. So it sounds like some money that was going to be coming from Disney came into play. I was interested in knowing how much money was it, you know. And Arab, how you doing? He says Liberia. And Shakira, how are you doing? He says his opinion was well deserved. However, he should have been more articulate. Okay. And Andre, how are you? He says if BC is in Florida and 45-cent money to Florida sounds like DeSantis interrupted a donation to me. I'm just saying. All right. Walter, what say you about all this?
Well, I saw this earlier during the week, and I'm gonna try and bite my tongue because I seem to get in trouble real easy. It's funny. One of the things that the president said, well, it was Disney and some of their partners. From what I got from the interview, anyways, they were worried about the behavior of the school and of the coach, and it being a Christian value. And so it kind of reminded me of the whole Kanye West, the Kyrie thing all over again. They're worried about what Disney thinks. Somebody that puts out movies about, I can't think of one Disney movie. I'm trying to think of two, maybe, that had a mother and father make it through the whole movie. You know what I'm saying? Or Christian values versus, now we have transgressors and transgenders and all this crazy stuff in some of these kid movies. But all of a sudden, they care about, like, when the fuck does Disney care about Christian values? Like, when did those two, Christianity and Disney, start hanging out together? I mean, so it falls back to the same thing. And it's sad. It really breaks my heart to see. It just seems like if you go to a black school, you're just going to be in the shit. I mean, like Deion Sanders. Seriously, you got Deion Sanders at your school and he's still complaining. And why does this story, why does it always have to be like some lean on me shit where they got to go clean up the school, get the crackheads out? You can't even take a shower. I mean, I've been, okay, not in the hood, but I was close. And even in the worst place I ever lived, me and my family, we always had like a running shower. We didn't have to sleep outside. I can't think of an event where I had to sleep outside or there was mold growing somewhere I was paying to be. It just pisses me off and blows me away why, and you're a black parent, why in the hell would you continue to leave your kid in a school that has mold growing on it? I mean, and some of these kids are paying to go to the school and they're not all on a grant. So, I mean, you got your kid and just so it's because it's a black university, Howard or what it's Spelman, you're going to have them in a shitty condition? It don't make no sense to me. And I don't care about the dude cussing. I mean, come on. I sent my kids to a Christian school and I was paying like $2,200 a month. And I went up there just to visit them in the first week. I saw kids kissing, hugging. That's about weed. I was like, shit, I pulled them out of there. I was like, I can do something different with this money. Matter of fact, I was more worried about my kids at the Christian school than I was at public school, because at least at public school, you anticipate the shit. Versus at a Christian school, you just caught off guard. So, and this Uncle Tom Negro president sitting up there talking about they got to bow down to Disney. You telling me all the people that have gone to that school, y'all can't raise $40 million a year, whatever you need to keep the school open. Plus you got all those kids paying to go there and the grants. And I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me. I think this is just, it's getting kind of tired to keep, like, damn, you got like an NFL coach who has to come and turn, what was the guy's name from Lean on Me? Clark?
It was Joe Clark.
Joe Clark. Every time somebody go to one of these schools, they got to turn into Joe Clark and fix everything. And I guarantee you, the president of this university, his shower at his mansion doesn't have mold on it. And you got to remember, these people, these teachers, in my opinion, aren't really providing a service. Most of those kids come out of college with less hustle, worse than they went in. And a lot of the jobs that they're going in to get when they get out ain't even there. And college tuition continues to go up with inflation, but the education is worse. It blows me away. And I think some of these people that run some of these schools are just like, oh, these kids, they come from black homes. We can just treat them like shit. And I'm tired of saying it. But like, even RCC, Community College in Riverside, where I live near, I mean, damn, that school is top notch compared to what I'm hearing. And it's, it's a, what do you call it? It's a community college. I mean, damn. So, but I always go to it until we as black people start saving our money and we take control. We're gonna always be in this shit, and it's gonna get worse, and it's gonna continue to get worse because now you got white people, Asians, Jews, whatever. You got all of them being laid off, and they're over this shit. This story doesn't even have, like, Deion's story got more attention. This story I barely saw. It's not getting the attention from the media like the Deion, because they're tired of this shit. Okay, black people, at what point do you grab control of your stuff, right? Or is this a white person issue where the man is screwing up the school? That's it. I'm on mute.
And Brother Samuel says, and I'm opening up the link now. If y'all want to click the link and come on and give your opinion, please do so. Brother Samuel says, Deion would say that parents are more concerned with, is my baby going to get 3 meals a day? Where will he sleep, etc.? How are you taking care of my baby? Yeah, so, and I'm assuming you're talking about the university, because you do send your children to school. I mean, they're adults, but you still send them to school to be cared for, protected, and all of that, even though and then, you're paying for that, right? So I know me personally, I would not want my child to have to endure any of that, especially since they don't leave home, and the home is not like that. But you're going to pay, and that college is, for both semesters, it's about $31,000 a year. So that's a lot of money to endure that. And so did Ed Reed need to do what he did to give that school exposure as to what was going on? I mean, some would say yes. I mean, sounds like they were kind of trying to sweep it under the rug, up until Ed Reed, he said what he had to say. So I don't know. I also understand that he had his football team cleaning up trash and things like that. So they were more or less like, but he explained it that they weren't really doing anything else, and they weren't special to where they couldn't clean up garbage and stuff like that. So doesn't sound like he was necessarily doing it to say, hey, look, there's garbage everywhere. Because if you ask me, garbage on the ground is not just the responsibility of the janitor. It's also the responsibility of the people who are throwing it there. You know what I mean? You do not need to throw your trash on the ground. There are receptacles for that. So it's kind of twofold. And Abdul, you say, brother, you coming out with smoking guns? I'm telling you, okay. You're talking about Walter, and Dr. Chris says colleges are like feeders for students, but don't provide the valuable level of support and training that students pay for. I see you, Dr. Chris. 1 second. And let's see. Hi, Jessica. How are you doing? And Kim, Alabama, how you doing? Says Ed was right. Abdul says this brother knows what he's talking about. And Arniva says if all the students unite and refuse to go to that school, the school will get its act together. And lastly, Brother Samuel says, I have refereed at white Christian schools football games, and I noticed they do way more cursing than public schools, and that includes the grown folks. Yes, indeed. Dr. Chris, how are you this fine evening?
Hey, how you doing? I'm okay.
What's on your mind?
So I went to a few of the schools. First of all, I'm a transgender man. Okay. So the first school I went to was a sister Ivy called Smith College.
Okay.
And then I went to an HBCU, Norfolk State University, and I got a master's in material science and engineering. And then I went to Iowa State University, a predominantly white institution over in Ames, Iowa.
Okay.
Now, at all of these schools, I've had grievances. Okay. Every single one of the schools I went to, I always had grievances. And in fact, I've even participated in protests at Smith College. I wrote scathing articles to, express my concerns. And a lot of my concerns and grievances were unmet, no matter where I went. Okay. Now, with regards to the HBCUs, now Norfolk State is a pretty good HBCU. It's what you make of it. But yes, the HBCUs are all kind of like on a tier system. So some HBCUs are going to be better than others. Unfortunately, that's the case. Now this HBCU obviously has some problems with accreditation and things like that, which is going to set them back because now they're going to lose out on funding. Mm-hmm. And so now they're not going to be able to take care of the campus like they're supposed to. Now, I'm not entirely sure why that happened, but I think it has something, no offense, to do with the fact that they're Christian. And now, I'm a Christian, okay?
Okay. Uh-oh.
Someone's calling me.
I was about to say, what happened?
Right. Sorry about that. Let me see if I
No
can.
worries.
Can I stop that from coming? The
Your phone
I,
call?
I have a feeling she's gonna keep trying to call me.
Oh, well, you just keep ignoring it. We'll know you're there.
All right.
So
So
they
what
lost
happened is,
their accreditation. It was on. I didn't lose it, but it was on probation in 2018. Sounds like they had a lot of financial malfeasance going on there. So I know you clicked out. Somebody keeps
sorry
calling.
about that.
No
Sorry
worries.
about that.
So they had some financial, I guess, malfeasance to where they really want to get a hold of you.
Yes.
Yeah. So they
What
had
was
some.
happening? Yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, so financially they were not being responsible with controlling the money and things like that. So it sounds like it had a lot to do with their finances and the governing board. Some of their characteristics, their integrity came into question.
Right. Right. And so yeah, these schools are gonna have these problems. So here's this guy. What's his name again? The coach.
Ed Reed.
Ed Reed, the coach Ed Reed, he's also voicing these criticisms, but now he's doing publicly, and this is going to be a problem for him, right? Because now he's asking for a promotion, and they're not going to give it to him because he's airing out their dirty laundry publicly. So there's a lot of politics that goes on in these schools as well. And if you think that HBCUs are free from politics, no, they have a lot of it too. Okay, it doesn't matter where you go. So for him, I'm sorry that he didn't get what he wanted, but yeah, politics is going to stop him from getting what he wants because he's airing out their dirty laundry, and he's showing he's not part of the administration. He's not party with the administration, and that's going to be a problem because administrations don't always like transparency and accountability. You know what I mean? And they don't like it when you, because of the institutionalization, they don't like it when you come against their customs. And unfortunately this is particularly the case even in Christian environments, but not all Christian environments, but some of them are like that. If you have a grievance and you go and talk to leaders, do you think that just because these people are Christians and they're supposed to turn the other cheek, that they will turn the other cheek? If you think that, you are dreaming. It's not going to happen. Okay, Christians are Christians because we were saved, because we were the most sinnerest of sinnerest folk. Okay, we just bad. Okay, so we needed a savior. Okay, so you're not going to get that. So what I would say, one of the things I try to inform people of, and I say, if you want to win at life, you can't try to be morally right. This is one of the things I try to express to people. And one of the problems with, no offense, Black people, is that Black people always want to prove how right we are. We always want to prove, and I'm going to say we, but I don't see myself as Black, but I'm never going to say it because if I say what I see myself as, people are going to have a problem. But anyway, the issue is that, you can't sit up there and say, oh, well, I got to prove how right I am, because the people who prove how right they are don't always win. I mean, you got people like, what's his name? And I'm not trying to get off the topic, but homeboy, South African, he was in prison for 40 years.
Nelson Mandela?
Yeah, Nelson Mandela. He was right, but homeboy was holed up in prison for 40 years. Who wants to do that? You know what I mean? I want to enjoy my life. You know what I mean? So one of the things I learned is that if you have problems with the administration, you got to find ways to get your concerns met, at least some of your concerns met, by somehow joining the administration, getting in with them, getting some kind of jobs, because there's a lot of jobs on campus where you could work. For example, Res Life. You could work for Residence Life. You know what I mean? And if you work for them and then you tell them, listen, hey, I'd like to work. I'd like to, and just come at them friendly with your resume and everything. And then when you get back there and they bring you in and you start giving them ideas, hey, I kind of thought about this, and I think that we can start to look into putting some of the funding here. And so you just have to find a more diplomatic approach to improving your environment than protesting. No offense. I don't think that protesting always works. I think that it's a strategy that we use as brown-skinned people, but I prefer that we get in on the back end of things and diplomatically try to work things out.
So basically, in a nutshell, you're saying not to go in there like gangbusters, kind of, settle in a little bit and then see if you can work hand in hand with the power makers, if you will, people who control, the money or however things go there at the university.
Absolutely. And we already know, like you said, Kamala Harris went to that school. So they got a plug with the White House. You know what I mean? So I'd be interested in trying to invite her back and like, hey, come on down, friendly. Look, whisper in her ear when she come, look at this conditioner, look at this conditioner. Can you help us out here? The alumni are a big help. It's the other thing that people don't really take advantage of is the alumni. Get in with the alumni, talk to the alumni of the school and say, hey, can you help us get into the ears of the administrators here? Because the administration wants the alumni attention. They want the money, the funding that comes from that. You know what I mean? So there are ways to strategically, but like I said, a lot of this I learned over the years through, kind of trial and error. And these are just things that young people don't really know about.
Right. All right, Dr. Chris. Well, thank you so much for all your insight and wisdom. And thank you so much for all that you do and participating on the show.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
All righty. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye.
So very, very insightful. So he was saying that basically, go in and, kind of get acclimated to what's going on, opposed to getting in there and kind of just making a lot of noise before you're comfortable with the situation. And so again, the link is open if y'all want to click on and give your opinion about what we're talking about, or you want to ask a financial question or whatever you may see trending or whatever. We are now opening it up, the conversation, to have people come on and speak. So don't all rush in at once.
Yes. Here we go. I got a couple questions.
Sure.
How is the trash getting on the ground? Number one. That's what we need to be asking ourselves. Do you have the white man coming in? Is he dropping trash on the ground in the middle of the night? And then we coming out like, oh shit, there's trash. Like, that's some of the stuff we need to address. I mean, at some point, we got to take care of ourselves. You know what I'm saying? I live in a neighborhood that's pretty nice, but once in a while, I see people dropping trash and I go holler like, hey man, this is what you doing? And I find myself picking up trash, but I feel like if everyone cleans up after themselves, and I cannot believe we are even talking about this, but if you drop something, well, of course, I guess if you drop it, you ain't trying to pick it up, right? Because you dropped it in the first place. So that goes deeper than I think we could ever fix. And then I'm watching these, a lot of these clips, and it's funny, you have a lot of the analysts, and I was just watching these three white analysts, like try and like tiptoe, they're trying to keep it real, but without like getting the comment section cracking. Like one guy was like, well, some of these stars, NFL guys, are going to these schools thinking that they're going to change just because they're bringing in a star. One guy was like, well, it isn't like these schools or the Taj Mahals. This is what you expect when you go to these schools. And I'm just sitting there listening to these guys. I'm like, man, like, is it really that bad that everyone else, they're kind of saying it, but, they can't say too much because obviously, they have to be careful because they're talking about Black people. So the woke community will eat their lunch. But on the other hand, we won't address it either. And it's like, why these three guys were talking, they were saying that some of these Black universities, their leaders have too much pride, like the presidents. It's just prideful. And I know for a fact, being a financial planner and going to these young Black groups, and they would tell me and my partners, hey man, what school did you go to? Did you go to Howard? Did you go to a Black school? And we were like, no, we went to a school of do for self. We went to this school, hey man, we sitting up here, we young Black men, we 6-figure dudes, we got families at home, our wives don't work, like, you know what I'm saying? You see what we pulled up in, like, not that we have to be all that, but like, we got our shit together. We're financial planners. I got Kanye West as a client, and I gotta kiss your Black ass because I didn't go to Howard. So throw away all my stuff, my accomplishments, my family, my values, all that shit's in the trash because I didn't go to Howard, number one. And then two, because I don't put yes, Lord, and Jesus and amen after every one of my fake sentences, my accomplishments don't mean shit. This is where I think Black people go wrong. We put too much energy on education and religion, and we get our black asses up and we do something for self, all the shit will end. Honestly, I'm kind of embarrassed to keep hearing these stories of black schools have trash everywhere and mold, to the point where a dude that just got a job is so outraged that he's on social media pointing shit out. Why did it have to get to this point? And in my opinion, I'll close with this. Some of these schools, it's the only way they respond is through profanity. You say, hey, man, what's going on with all this shit? Versus, hey, I noticed there was some trash on the ground. So, and I think there's a lot of schools that want to hire him. He can come work for me anytime. I'm just keeping it real.
Well, it sounds like Ed Reed is not doing it for the money. It sounds like he has lots of money, and he's also got a lot of other stuff going on in his life. So he said the money was never the issue. He's a 9-time pro football, a 9-time, Pro Bowler. Also in the Pro Football Hall of Fame as of 2019. So he's got a lot of things going on for himself. So he's not like he needs the money type of thing. Sounds like he was very passionate about what's going on with the children there. Also, I saw someone say in the comment section that some of the football players were sharing helmets. They said there was mold also in some of the helmets, and they also have to wash their own uniforms, and just a whole lot of unnecessary things going on there. So he doesn't seem like he's doing it for the money. Jessica, I saw you said that was not insightful, what was being said. I said it was insightful because they were giving their opinion as far as what the institutions that they have attended. And so it was insightful. We may not agree on everything that is said, but I don't think it's up to us to decide what value someone else has the value that's on someone else's opinion. I hope that helps. Mr. Thunder, how you doing? You also say, how did you enjoy that weather yesterday? I didn't. And I want to make a clarification as well. There were some people who was like, I will go back to California then. I was like, well, yeah, eventually. But I think some people took it as I was talking bad about the people of Houston or Houston itself. I said the weather is ghetto. I didn't say anything about the city or the people, but that just kind of speaks to some people's comprehension skills. It's like you get mad over my opinion, like, okay, go off. But no, I didn't enjoy that. There actually was a tornado 13 miles outside of Houston near Pasadena, Texas, Deer Park or something like that, where a senior citizen home was destroyed and a couple other things. So it was real. Somebody I was talking to about it yesterday says, oh, you can just ignore that. It's not real. Ignore those type of things when you get those notices. And I was like, well, when you was at work, what happened? They said, oh, well, we have to go into this tornado shelter. So I'm like, you telling me to ignore the tornado warning, but y'all was all huddled up, booed up together in a tornado shelter? Oh, okay. But anyway, back to these comments. Jessica says, I went to HBCU. So did my mother and my son. It's like everything had its pros and cons, but for sure those schools look different. Yes, indeed. And Landon, you say, do for self. While they just banned African-American studies in Florida, HBCUs are truly needed. If that's the case, Ed got young alumni ready to help. Yeah, but I impress upon y'all to really look at Governor Ron DeSantis banned African-American studies, advanced placement studies, to be exact, there in Florida, because there were some things that were going to be included in those studies, which is some of the things are Black queer studies, Black feminist studies, and some other things. And it's like, okay, while, there are classes like that, but where did we get so off track where we really want to learn about African-American things? I'm not saying that that's not part of being Black, I guess, but I think if people want to teach their children about that, that should be up to them to teach their children about that. It should not be left up to a school, because it does seem like it's an agenda. So for that, yeah, Governor Ron DeSantis is not too far off the money. But like Uncle Luke said as well, he actually thanked DeSantis and saying, well, great, now we can teach our children real Black history at home, which is what we're supposed to be doing anyway, right? Like I would never send my child to any school, white school, to teach them her, I should say, about who she is, because they ain't gonna do it right. So I hope that helps. Damon, how are you? Long time no see. Says positive vibes to all in the chat. Black First Family. Yes, indeed. Then it says some folks like the ones running, ruining that school made it make it hard for us to give back. This is shameful and needs to be stopped. Yes, it's also said that the alumni in a lot of HBCUs, they don't give like they do at the white schools. It doesn't even sound like it's $2 per alumni when it's all said and done. And that was also said with Jackson State as far as their alumni giving. Abdul says, I'm down with Nelson Mandela and Ed Reed way of doing things. And yes, I want to clarify too, Nelson Mandela was in prison for 27 years, so not quite 40. Joshua, how you doing? Says, don't come to Cali. They be on BS out here. Well, you know, I'm a Southern California native. Well, actually, I was born in Oakland, Northern California, but raised in Southern California. So Southern California is my home. It is expensive as hell, but I miss it every day. Jessica says, maybe I understand insightful to mean something else. No, you have the right. I think you have the right definition. And I wasn't saying that, you know, to be mean or nothing like that. But, you know, I just think we want to encourage people to give their opinion. And we may not always agree with it, but it's their opinion nevertheless. But I know you mean well. And Tatum, how you doing? Says, hi, fam. Glad you are safe and made it out of the closet. Yes. For those of you guys who know, I was in the closet with my daughter because we got this warning that says basically go seek cover now. And I'm like, oh my God. I'm going to keep it real with y'all. I was getting dressed to do a show with Donovan, so I wasn't fully dressed and none of that kind of stuff. So I got dressed, went and made me a protein shake because I had worked out twice already that day. I was hungry. Then I went and got me something to drink. My daughter got, you know, some stuff, and we brought our books into the closet with a cord to keep our phones charged in case the lights or whatever went out. And yeah, I was like, this can't be happening. Because I don't have a basement. So Thunder says, DK, don't leave, don't pay them. No, never mind. I don't know. And let's see here. Alduya says, even Jesus had to turn over some tables. Yes, he did. He absolutely did. And Damon says, I'll take an earthquake over a tornado all day long. Yeah, people don't understand. Earthquakes, they're scary as hell, but it's like, okay, whew, it wasn't the big one, right? We can go back on to what we were doing. But a tornado, it's like, I'm not trying to be Dorothy from the Wizard of Oz. And let's see, Joshua says, laugh out loud. We just had one this morning. I heard. I didn't even feel it. I typically always feel the earthquakes for some reason. And Thunder says, no, from what I understand is that other things we're going to be included. Why are they trying to conflate these things with us specifically? In my opinion, he actually did us a favor. I agree. So I know there's a thing with the critical race theory, people wanting to not teach that and things like that. But African-American studies, I think it should be that. I don't think it should be the kitchen sink approach. That's what I like to call it, where they throw everything in there. Okay, we're going to throw that in there because they know most times, most of us won't even, you know, read and see what's all up in there. But I guess he had a press conference and said, yeah, this is the stuff that they were including. And he wasn't down with it. So, I mean, I'm not necessarily mad at that. It's basically saying go back to the table and bring something back that's a little bit more suitable. You know, of course, too, he did say he didn't want that people learn about reparations. So it's not all that Governor Ron DeSantis is, you know, doing what's best for Black people. There are some things that we need to know about that he didn't want taught as well. So, you know, let's see. And Fafa, how you doing? Says because staff are thieves. And Jarvis, how you doing? Says Dion is full of crap. He didn't have to cut no damn grass. Well, that's what he's saying. And I think there's even a video of him doing it. So I don't know. Joshua says, I'm from Inglewood. He says, so you know it's gets pretty wild. Yes, indeed. I have family in Inglewood. Quita, how you doing? Says the Lord stop that show with Donovan. Thank you, Lord. What show was that? Y'all talking about the one yesterday? Thunder says, I'll take a hurricane in a day, any day of the week over an earthquake. You never hear, hey, that hurricane came out of nowhere. That is true. I mean, you know, it is said that in California, the big one is supposed to take place where it is supposed to be major. And actually, the earthquake is considered the worst of the natural disasters between a hurricane, tornado, volcano, and all the other stuff. The earthquake is supposed to be the worst because, like you said, there's rarely a warning for that. and it is super catastrophic because it happens from the ground up. And if your environment or your house, whatever, is not stable, then yeah, there's a lot of things that could go on with that. But I just don't like. Maybe I'll just move to Mars. Well, I don't know if they have natural disasters or not. And let's see here. Quita says, or was that Walter yesterday, the one with the hat? No, that was Donovan. That was good old Donovan. Y'all know Donovan can't help himself. Talking about the show from yesterday, y'all should check it out. It was he would disagree, but I had to eat his lunch a little bit. You also say, oh yes, so that was Donovan. And brother Reddy says that's Walter, Demetra's brother. Yes, this is my brother. Jarvis says Ed Reed hadn't even signed his contract yet. Besides, you can't go on your job and cuss out the administration and think you're going to keep the damn job. Are you people serious? No, I mean, I never did say that he could do that. I actually don't think you should be able to do that. No matter how much money you have, I think you should act with some sort of decorum. But it sounds like to me there was other issues going on. I did see the interview on Roland Martin with the president, and he sounded like he was kind of on a power trip just a little bit, but I don't know. Quita says, when you was in the closet. Oh, when was you? When was I in the closet? I was yesterday. Yesterday, there was we had wind advisory, flood advisory, tornado advisory. Let's say wind, flood, tornado, and thunderstorm. It was like 4 advisories going on. I was like, this is too much. And then let's see here. Artemis, it says earthquakes are the worst, especially if you're in a high-rise building. Yes, indeed. So they are by far the worst. I saw it on Netflix. They were talking about all the natural disasters, and they said the earthquake is the worst. Like I said, I don't love any of it at all. So if y'all want to click the link and come on and be heard, please do so.
You're going to die one day. I mean, I don't know. I live in California. The weather here is beautiful. The politics suck. It's a woke capital. And, I love Texas. I don't like the weather, but, you got to kind of pick and choose. You know what I'm saying? And the other thing, too, I mean, that's why it comes down to having your stuff together. Now, I know tornadoes can come out of nowhere, too. Not out of nowhere, but like, the day before, they weren't like, hey, tornadoes are coming, were they? Or do tornadoes just kind of show up the day of? You know what I'm saying? So I don't know enough about weather. Like earthquake, we could be sitting right now and everything can just start shaking. So, but here's one. Here we go again. I might as well just get it on. Somebody say to me once, I hang around with some pretty conservative black men, which good luck finding in California. And one of them was like, why do black issues have to get wrapped up into lifestyle issues? Here's what I mean. So many other groups have hopped on the backs of black struggles. The women feminist movement, women rights, the gay movement, or whatever. I want to wear purple pants and have yellow hair movement is lumped up in black movements. I swear to God, I'm trying to think of the last time I watched a black TV show on Netflix or Amazon. Because every time I'm looking, like I'm looking for a show that doesn't have all those issues wrapped up. But if I'm going to put my kid in front of the TV or my grandkid, he's not coming back like, Dad, there's something wrong with me. You know what I'm saying? I like women, and now if you are gay, transgender, that's your business. I don't have a problem with that. But that is a lifestyle choice or a decision you can make. Being black is being black. I don't care what, if I'm going to turn my ass into the black George Clooney, I'm still going to be black. And we need to stop making being black an option and treating it like that way. And it's black people's fault that university, those classes aren't being taught. Because you can't just say, yo, black people, we came here, you stole your asses, and you invented everything on the planet, from the microwave to the stoplight to, Big Ben in London. I don't know how true that is, but that's what I heard. I mean, we have all these things that black people continue to do. I had a friend of mine yesterday came over and did her podcast at my crib. And she goes, wow, black people, we really are some tough people. I said, yeah, we made it through slavery and all the things. But now, what's worse for black people than slavery is ourselves. because now we're dealing with all this other shit. I'm worried about my grandkids. Like damn, what do I tell them? You know what I'm saying? And again, I want to be careful because I know the world has shifted. And you have, we all have a right to our opinion. I have gay friends. I have a lot of gay friends, more than I would have normally had. I travel with two gay dudes. Me and my girlfriend travel with these two gay dudes, Jerry and Ivan. They cool as shit. And my girlfriend was like, "Are you okay with that gay?" I was like, "Man, I ain't worried about that." But here's what I'm not going to do to Jerry and Ivan is I ain't going to push my blackness and my way of life on them. You know what I'm saying? I have my way of doing things. They have their way of doing things. You understand? So we need to just separate blackness from all those other issues. You know what I'm saying? The women's movement is the women's movement, not to be hijacked by black struggles or all these other movements, the Asian rights, this, that, the power to mi gente and the Mexican power and all these other things that ride on the backs of black people. And the only people not benefiting from this are black people. And now we're doing it to ourselves. If I walk into a black church and be like, "Hey, man, let's take a vote. Let's take a real vote and look at what's going on in the world," it's going to be some madness. I'm over it. I want to be black, and I don't want to have anything else tied up into blackness. And I'm going to end with this. I was watching, and I'm just going to go ahead and go all the way, right? I'm watching Miss Universe, right? And so I'm watching Miss Universe, me and my girlfriend, and I didn't want to watch it. But sometimes you do shit for your woman you wouldn't do. So I'm watching Miss Universe. And halfway through it, this woman comes out who I thought was a woman and says, "Miss Universe is owned by a woman. No longer is it in the power of men. We have our shit back." Like, first of all, Miss Universe was created by men, owned by Donald Trump until recently, if I'm correct. Mm-hmm. We want to see beautiful women in heels and bathing suits. That's what we do. And we want to know if they could talk a little bit too. I don't really care about the question part. Get to the bathing suit part real quick and make it longer. But she gets on as like, it's taking over. We took it from the men and it's ours now. So they bash the men. And then she goes out to say, "I'm a transgender woman." So I'm like, what are you talking about? You took it from men, but you were a man 6 weeks ago. Like, how do you bash men when you were like, seriously? Like, black people, we need to, like, if that's your lifestyle, be it. But don't tie it to being black. And black people, women especially, stop co-signing on that shit. What we ought to be doing is trying to find black people that can lead our race and help get our kids away from swing low. Jesus is going to do it all. Not that Jesus ain't doing nothing, but he ain't going to do it all. Right? In the school system is when it turning into one of the crappiest places you can send your kids because they come out dumber than they were when they went in there versus just saying, "Yo, man, here's some money. Go start a business. Let's get back together tonight and tell me how it went." You do that for 4 years. See what I'm saying? We got to get our balls back. Like, period. I'm over it.
Well, tell us how you really feel, brother.
Yeah. Got me wanting to smoke weed, and I don't even do drugs.
I saw that. I actually covered that. I think it was on the African Diaspora News Channel. I forget her name. That's what she says. A transgender woman that now owns Miss Universe. She paid $20 million for it, and she gave the speech about womanhood and all this other stuff. And I'm like, as a woman, I'm never going to take advice from somebody who is not biologically that. No shade to anybody. Just speaking my truth. You can never tell me how to be a woman.
And she paid the money as a man to buy the pageant as a woman. Like, come on.
Yeah, that's good. That's just kind of weird, And
that's
Jarvis
suspect. And right. Here's the other thing too about Ed Reed. I don't like the way he went about it. Yeah, he should have went about it differently. But that is called F-U money. F-U, I don't need this money. I have enough money to say what I say. Because most people would have signed the contract and then went off. But, I love his position of not needing the money. When you see, this is what I like about the Kyrie and Kanye thing. Like, somebody was, "Oh, what's Kanye going to do?" He got $400 million. At 10%, that's $40 million a year. That's $3 million a month. That's $800,000 a week. So $100,000 a day. Kanye gonna be okay. But when you have your stuff together, believe Kanye, right or wrong, whatever you feel, when you have your stuff together, you can do stuff like that. You don't have to go to work and wake up. I told my girlfriend yesterday, you tired of going to work, then stop going. Period. Make a move. But like when you are hostage to money, oh shit. You got to do things you don't want to do. I like what he did. He pointed it out, and I wish more schools, people would come out, maybe not do it that way, but say, hey man, what's up? Black people, we can't even have our schools be neat. It's insanity. And it's only getting worse with this woke, stupid stuff. All the mixing. Go to Netflix tonight and try and watch a show that ain't wrapped up into some woke stuff or this or that. And the Oscars are coming now, so I was about to get woke city up in here.
Well, then, speaking of that, a lot of people are mad because a lot of, I guess, the black films, I don't watch the Oscars, but a lot of black films got snubbed and all that other stuff. And it's like, well, I mean, there you go again. When I say you, people who are mad about it, you were looking for white people to validate your talent. It's like, why that golden statue, whatever it is, I don't know what it's made out of, but I mean, does that really validate your work? I mean, I just think it's ridiculous. And don't ask me how you do it. It says, so you know what Miss Universe is going to turn into? Yeah, I guess we could kind of all speculate.
Oh, can I say it? Can we? I mean, ooh, I'm gonna start. Hey, y'all, when this show is over, come to my channel.
Right, so you can get blocked over there. You can get YouTube can get on them over there.
I mean, it is Miss Universe. Period. You have the balls and the audacity to come on and disrespect this, whatever this, this, I don't even know what to call it, business, institution. Like a lot of women really break their neck to be Miss Universe and Miss America and Miss whatever they have to do to get there. Just to have that Caitlyn Jenner moment thrown in their face, like Caitlyn Jenner at the ESPYs. Like how you get Woman of the Year and you were a man 12 weeks ago. And women, where's the outrage? Like, come on now. Man, anyways, back to the universities. We got to hold these, like, if you want to get some real power, start going to the homes of these people that lead these universities, the president. Start going to their homes and protesting. Block their driveways. You understand? Because you can go protest at the school. The president of this school could care less about you Negroes because he goes to his house with his mansion and his German cars and everything, and he's chilling. He could care less. He probably got a back door to get onto the school. I guarantee he's not driving past the trash every day. His driveway is clean. So that's where we need to be going. Anyways.
And Joshua, I'm going to check that out. I'm writing it down right now. Off script podcast. It sounds like he said they were dropping some information about the HBCU there that a lot of people did not know. Again, we have the link open if y'all want to come on and speak your mind a little bit. Walter's channel is called As the Money Talks on YouTube, also on Spotify as well as The Money Talks. Ibarra, how you doing? Says, stop waiting for your enemies to give props. It was said that Academy Award, it's plastic. Where'd it go? It's plastic, not made of gold. Yeah, I'd imagine that. Also sounds like the actresses or whoever wins it don't really own it. They just kind of get to hold it or whatever, keep it because it can be revoked for whatever reason. Let's see here. Queedy says, right. And Joshua says they're living in those mansions with security guards at the front gates. And Thunder says men are replacing them. Yeah, that's kind of what's going to happen there. And Boot Tribe, how you doing? Says none of the student councils or football players that spoke were Black Americans, and they won't get a lot of support from the ADOS community. So you're saying at Bethune-Cookman, Abdul says, brother, you got that right. And Joshua says, yes, please go check it out. I will. And Quita says, RuPaul could have started something for the trans community. Well, I guess he did, but I'm one of those people that I'm still kind of trying to figure out all of what it means. It means, the trans community and things like that. But I just think there has been a lot of co-signing of certain things. I don't disagree with people who are the opposite sex participating in the sport. So let's say if biologically you were a man and now you transitioned to a woman, I don't think that you should be able to participate in women's sports. I mean, because biologically you are still stronger, probably faster and all of that. So it's like, I don't know, if I was a trans woman, why would I even want to participate? It's like I'm cheating, right? Unless you're like, you just want the title. I don't know, but like, there's no integrity in knowing that you're going to race women who were born that, and then you were born a man, but now are, transitioned to a woman. You're going to race them. You're going to do the 100-yard dash with them. Don't you think you're going to win? But I did see one where I think it was a 100-yard dash where a trans woman ended up losing. But I don't know, if I was a track star, let's just keep it with track, I would not participate. I'd be like, I'm just not going to do it. I'm sorry. I'm not going to participate in that. So sometimes I think we need to be careful what we co-sign for. I'm not saying that we could tell other people what to do, but it's like when we sign up to participate in certain things, like the women, I don't know if there were any transgender women in the Miss Universe pageant, but I'd imagine there will be. But as a woman, why would you even want to participate with somebody who is trans? You know what I mean? I would be like, I'm good. I'm going to wait until the category is all, women per se.
Yeah, it's going to be a hot mess. It's going to be over. I'll tell you, it's real. I went to dinner last Friday night. And so in California, the bathrooms are co-ed now. So what happens is you walk into this lobby area in the bathroom, and then they have doors. So you go to the sink and you have doors, and they're unisex. And so I walked in there to the bathroom, and there was this girl like fixing her skirt coming out of the door. And I went, oh shit, I'm in the wrong bathroom. She goes, no, this is the way of the world. And so I'm thinking, weren't men and women's bathrooms separated for the safety of women? Like I'm blown away here. Like, I go into the bathroom and I got a girl like getting dressed. You know what I'm saying? Like, my girlfriend, when I went in there with her, I was like, whoa, like, this is some weird shit. But the world is cool with that. You're not gonna worry about my daughter in the future if she goes to college. One of these weird institutions where what the men and the women showers, they're gonna be sharing showers and shit. That's where it's going. If you'd have said 20 years ago, I'm gonna walk into the bathroom and see a girl changing clothes or getting dressed or doing her makeup, they would be falling out. But here we are. And that type of stuff is just sliding. So you take this, and then you take the stuff that's going on with this school. I mean, the world literally is falling apart. We need to do something quick. And I'm telling you, what's going to really help is having, our stuff. Black History Month is coming up. That's what you want to call it. What we could do for Black History Month? Save some fucking money. How about that? Save some money for Black History Month. That would be, I know that's outrageous. I know I'm stretching. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, I don't want to get too riled up. I don't want to get your show canceled.
Let me address this. High Tech. How you doing, by the way? He says, how do you guys feel about Aretha Franklin's Natural Woman being canceled for being offensive to trans women? So I actually have covered that story as well. It's not out yet on the African Diaspora News channel. But yes, there's some of the trans community that want Aretha Franklin's Natural Woman to be canceled. What?
I said, hell to the no. Please tell me this is not a real subject.
No, they really wanted to be canceled because what is a natural woman? Of course, if they're trans women, then I guess they feel like they're not included in that.
No, natural means what did nature give your black ass? What did nature give you? Let me help you guys out real quick. Let me break it down for you. Nature, if you get the colloquial, I don't even know. I heard Farrakhan use that word. I don't even know if that's what that means. But if you break down the word nature, means something that happens naturally, means without you. If your father and your mother, if he inserts his tool into her body part, the thing that comes out naturally is going to be either a man or a woman. That is a natural woman. See, if I'm a woman, I will be hot. Where are the women protesting? Aretha Franklin probably be rolling in her grave. You see? And black people, we just stand by that shit. Oh, well, it's true. Ew. And by the way, y'all get on the black bus too. While y'all at it, won't y'all get on the bus with the black people with all the issues y'all want to get, and then we gonna get off the bus and get on the private jet, and we gonna leave y'all Negroes on the bus to keep moving and getting nothing. This is outrage.
Hello, honeydew. Yes, so that is actually a thing the trans community does. Some, I guess, maybe not all, want to have that song canceled. It's like, now y'all just being silly. They even went after, some of the LGBTQ community even went after Beyonce because she went over to Dubai to give a concert to where she was paid $24 million reportedly to perform for an opening of a new luxury hotel over there. And so they said that, how dare her, and I'm paraphrasing, go over there and perform when they know that Dubai is not LGBTQ friendly. They have laws against same-sex relationships and all of that. And she shouldn't have went over there. And in my commentary that you guys will see when it's produced is, well, when does Beyonce get to be heterosexual? We know that Beyonce is LGBTQ friendly, because they also said that her last album, Renaissance, had a lot of references to the ballroom scene, which is that of the gay community, and, some other references. And so journalists were saying, well, she owes us in the community, for that album. But I'm like, well, when does she get to be heterosexual? Why does it always have to be about y'all? I mean, $24 million. She's supposed to say, okay, well, there's some people in the gay community ain't gonna like this, so I'm just leave this money on the table. It's like she's a heterosexual woman, so she is going to be that. You guys don't own her. You don't own her. You don't own her ideologies. If what she does for the LGBT community, that is out of the goodness of her heart. She doesn't even have to do that. But if I was Beyonce, and I don't know if she's responded, I wouldn't respond. The only way I would respond is signing the back of that check and putting it into my bank account.
That's the problem with that community. And I know it's not all of them, because I have a lot of gay friends that don't want to push their stuff on other people. I hang out with some gay dudes, some gay friends. My kids have gay friends. I'm cool with it, but don't push that shit on me. My man, if you want to come in, you know what I'm saying? If you want to tie your shirt up into a knot, you know what I'm saying? That's cool. That's on you. But don't try and get my kids to do it, because then you'll be missing in the middle of the night. Like we saw Walter's Range Rover pull up at 2 a.m. Some feet hanging out the bottom of it. I mean, do not, and that's the problem. There's nothing wrong if you want to live that lifestyle, but don't force it on other people. You know what I'm saying? Like you go to a men's event and you show up because they don't allow women. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't change something. Why don't you build your own thing? And last I checked, the LGBT community was powerful. Matter of fact, the LGBT, I don't practice saying it. Their community is stronger than the black community. You want to do something, you want to get canceled, do something to somebody from that community. Then you're going to have real problems. And the only person that could even speak on it, who's become our Jesus Christ, Lord and Savior, is Dave Chappelle. Think about it. Seriously. Think about it. When we have an issue, or we get on that line, or we need to communicate across genders or race, who do they bring out to talk about it? Dave Chappelle. Just think about that. Let that resonate for a second. Like Dave Chappelle, besides being the greatest of all time, comedian-wise, based on, I guess, statistics, is also black. He comes out and talks to us so we don't offend everybody. Does that make sense? Or is it weed in my stick?
That makes sense. Thunder says, what about the safety of men? What if a man goes in and someone comes out with a false narrative about something that didn't happen? I mean, that's a good point.
And bam, forgot about that.
Yeah, I mean, you could be in the restroom with a woman and she come out, he looked at me and I just felt, I was so uncomfortable. I felt violated. Then what? Like, who's to say that you've opened these bathrooms up for both sexes to be in at the same time? And that, I mean, if I was a man, I would definitely be concerned about that. And what if you go in there and somebody's little girl is in there, you're a man and you're, doing your thing. And yeah, it's just like people weren't really, I don't know, thinking that through all the way. You know what I mean? Because I tell you guys a lot about a guy that I knew years ago. He was 23 at the time that I knew him. And when he was 18, he was labeled a sex offender because he urinated outside, and a white woman and her daughter, little girl, walked by and saw him doing it. And she called the police, and they sent him to prison and gave him what is it? I made him a sex offender. He had to register as a sex offender because she saw him urinating outside. So it's like this man gave some years in a federal or a state penitentiary, I guess, for that. But yeah, you're gonna open up these bathrooms, and something like that could happen all day long. Like, make all of that make sense, right? And let's see here. Jessica, you said, come on, Walter. Elevate my mind. How you doing? It says they say it was a satire article, but we know they believe it for real. So the article about Aretha Franklin, I really do hope that was satire. I really do. Because I actually saw a news, what do you call it? What is it called? A news segment about it. So I don't know. Hopefully it is, right? El Hombre Negro, he says Bethune-Cookman resident is in a mansion. I don't know if he's in a mansion. I imagine he has a pretty nice house. He's an interim president, so doesn't sound like he is the permanent resident. Big Rich, how you doing? Says next they're going to change the definition of natural because they're changing the definition of a woman in the dictionary. Hi. Honeydew says it sounds like they're admitting they're not natural. Well, there's some that's, saying, well, we need to kind of, change the definition of what it means to be a woman. It's like, no, we are not going to do that. Okay. I even saw one where someone in the trans community was saying that you biological women don't have ownership over a period. I was like, I know goddamn well y'all don't want that too. Trust me, if you had just one, you're going to change your mind. Gilvetta says, I wish they would cancel because of trans what? And then Dr. Chris says, amen, nature versus supernatural magic and fairy tale. And El Hombre, you say, it was only trying to enhance the football program. Well, of course, how you doing? It says, DC is here. Shalom. Family Black First. Hey, Miss K, how you doing? And Jessica says, so were women offended when Beyonce made If I Were a Boy? I know, right? But I guess you have to listen to the lyrics of that song. And didn't Sierra make one like that as well? And Abdullah says exactly. And Honeydew says, I wish I would apologize for my earnings. They're going to hear bass sing Igga Please Hair Flip. Jessica says, not Walter. And Brother Jonell says, majority don't know natural nor nature. They know program and artificial more. How can trans person talk about anything natural when they're not even true to themselves? That's media working to advertise and push perversion. You don't have to promote breathing air. You just do it. You don't have to promote being natural. If you're a natural woman, you just be yourself. But trans and other BS has to be enforced because it's not natural. And Abdullah says their goal is to take all the rights away from natural women. Yeah, even if they do, it still doesn't change the fact of, being a natural woman, right? And that is a lot to do with the Democratic side of the aisle. They are on board with all of that. Arnego says Beyonce should tell them to come up with $24 million to not go. I totally agree. And then they said, well, it's not like she needs the money. How you gonna count my pockets? There's never enough or more in some instances. Dr. Chris says that's because there are more LGBT than there are blacks. That's probably true. Also, they have unity. They are a unified group of people, for the most part, especially when it comes to the white side of the LGBTQ aisle. They don't necessarily rally on behalf of Black LGBTQ individuals. I mean, they just don't. Not like, they do for their own. Abdul says, trust me, all of this stuff has been designed, transgender, etc. Buckhorse says, I didn't get involved. You go your way, I'll go mine, only towards beautiful Black queens. Yes, indeed. Gilberta says, we're going ass backwards in today's world. And Brother Reggie says, good point, Thunder. Jessica says, Dave Chappelle is Black people bringing out the big guns. Yeah, Dave Chappelle he's super on I don't give a F, right? Abdul says, you're looking at The Walking Dead. Yes, indeed. And Gavetta says that, Walter, I think it would just not use the bathroom while out. I would not use the bathroom while out because I'm not doing this. Yeah, I mean, I've seen bathrooms that are for both, I guess. I just choose to go into the one that is not. Even though accidentally a few times I walked into the men's restroom, was like, oops, wasn't on purpose. I remember one time I went into the men's restroom, and wasn't paying attention. And I actually was using the bathroom, and then I seen some feet come in. They look like, like male feet. And I was like, shoes. I was like, either I'm in the wrong spot or they in the wrong spot. So then when I came out, I was like, how did I not see those urinals? It was so awkward, but it was not intended. So I could imagine doing that on purpose, right?
Imagine this, ladies. The person before you peed all over the seat, peed on the floor, because men never do that after going to a bar and a restaurant or drinking all night. Peeing on the seat, on the floor, and you pulling your pants down or whatever it is you do, and on the floor where you put your pants down is they sitting in pee, and you got to go in and wipe the toilet down to get the pee off the seat. I told my girl, I said, don't, like, let me go in there first. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just insane to me. But like, so ladies, let me explain something to you. When you use a urinal as a man, you just stand up and you just back up. You ain't got to pull nothing down, turn around. You don't have to. You know what I'm saying? But like, anyways, you get the point. I'm blown away. And it's just so silent. It's just so quiet. It's almost like you're afraid to be a natural man. And this is why I miss it. I'm sorry. I don't agree with everything he says, but man, hey man, if Kanye could be president, so can Andrew Tate. You know what I'm saying?
Oh Lord.
I know he's there. Everything he says is not right, but I'm trying to think of one person that I listen to that I agree with everything they say. I can't think of one person.
Everything who says?
That's what I'm saying. I'm trying to think of one person that I agree with everything they say. Like I heard Joe Biden say out of his mouth, it wasn't me. I wasn't around for that. Why do y'all need reparations in so many words? And I wrote the damn law when he was talking about the 3 strikes or the whatever that was, the crime bill. Like, but yet most black people, matter of fact, if you black and you don't vote for Joe Biden, you gonna need security. Period. So we don't agree with everything Joe Biden says, but as a group, we vote for him, without even a question. You know what I'm saying? As a shit. In California, as a Republican, you don't even want to vote. Because if there's a black person going in that booth, there's a 95% chance that he or she's going to vote for Joe Biden. No matter how bad they treat us, he treats us, we're going to vote for him. That's insane to me. So, and I would just bring that up to defend Andrew, to talk about Andrew Tate, because like he's telling men, hey, by the way, it's okay to take care of your woman. Yes, she's my property because it's my job to take care of her. And when I say my property, I mean, she is my wife. I am her husband. You know what I'm saying? My grandson, he was over here some time ago and he was like, that's mine. And I thought he meant like that belongs to him. Anyways, I'm kind of being
not property in the sense of, I got, ownership over you type of thing.
No, he was saying, this is my woman. It's my wife. Like, when does it become an issue saying that's my wife? You know what I'm saying? Like, and you saw how quick they took Andrew Tate out. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think it's okay. And I know it's becoming a dying breed to be a man. Top G, that's what's up. And you got all these women out here that are becoming men. Like sometimes I have to remind my girlfriend, I had to get on her case the other day. I was like, stop touching the door handle, damn it. Like you have a man in your presence. I don't need you at the door handle. I don't need you pumping gas. I don't need you putting gas. I don't need you washing your car. I don't need you doing none of that shit that I should be doing. And when you get to the point as a female where you have a man and you are pumping your own gas, just shoot me in the back of the head. Like that's what women ought to be. Because my ex-wife to this day, we divorced. I left in 2005. She still acts like I owe her shit. And if the fire get too hot, She will call my ass 20 times, and we have been divorced almost 20 years. So at what point do men just get to be men and not have to apologize?
Well, and let me say this too. I totally agree with you. I think when there's a man around, women, whether he's your man or not, you should allow him to exercise chivalry, open your doors and all of that. But I will say there's some men out there who, they don't feel like they need to do that at all. I've gone, out with people, I would say men, and they didn't open my door, my car door and all that. And, I think about my father. I think about you, I think about the men in my life that would open the car door or whatever the case is. So I tend not to try to hang out with people like that. But my daughter, one time, she was dating, she went out on a date per se with a guy. She's younger. And she was driving and she needed gas. And so she said he sat in the passenger seat and didn't get out. She was like, oh, hell to the no. I'm not pumping this gas. You need to get out and pump the gas. He got out, but she was like, just the fact that I even had to say something to him was problematic for me. And they didn't continue to date. My sister, she went out to the movies with a guy, and she said they got up to the window to pay because he invited her or whatever. He's like, oh, I forgot my wallet. And she was like, all right, well, take me back home. She said I could have paid, but she was like, nah, we're not even going to start off like that. So, I think some men need to be taught, hey, it's okay to open her door. And ladies, when a man opens your door, say, well, thank you. Just thank you. Don't just walk through the door with a sense of entitlement like, yeah, you were supposed to open my door. But I'm going to say thank you. Thank you. Because he didn't have to do that. But it is, considered, I guess, the thing to do if you're a gentleman to do that. But ladies also need to be open to that. And I think both sides, men and women, need to know your worth. If you're going out with a gentleman and he does not do those things, slide the chair out. I'm neither here or there or that, because, whatever. But opening your doors and all that other kind of stuff, yeah, a man needs to do that. And pumping the gas and all of that, yeah, a man needs to do that. I'm not one of those women that are like, well, I'm going to do it because and there ain't no roles, no gender roles here. So, I don't know.
Yeah, and women, make sure, because this is the money show, make sure, and I'm speaking as a man, that's it. Make sure you get with a man that is going to focus on your well-being. One thing I tell my daughter, my youngest daughter, both my daughters, is make sure you focus on the money. I joke around with my youngest daughter, but like, you want to get with a man, make sure he's going for it. Make sure he's saving for your future. Make sure he's protecting you guys. Like, money rules everything else. And tax season is coming up, you guys, and it's already here. Actually, I think January 31st, which is next week. It's only cracking in tax return land. Instead of taking your tax return, going out and buy something, whatever, and we could do the show next week if you want to. I have a PowerPoint I've actually created for it. Is when you get your tax return, take that money, and if you have great credit, your 700s and all that stuff, it's just not really pertaining to you. But if you need to build your credit, then you can take that tax return and you could give it to like Self, Capital One, or Citibank and get some secure credit cards. You can give them that money, and then you can borrow against that money. You're still spending it, but at least you have credit. And I'm telling you guys, credit is becoming the best way to build wealth. My God, I have a PowerPoint. Maybe we'll do it in the future that I did on my cookie show last Wednesday on As the Money Talks, where I went over how to create wealth out of no money, like zero money out of pocket, how to buy real estate and cars and create businesses with no money out of pocket, just using your credit report. That is by far the fastest way. And your credit report, last I checked, they don't ask about your race. Hey, is this a Negro borrow money from us? I mean, they may, but you know what I'm saying? I noticed there's chasing the people that do it, but I'm just saying it isn't as blatant. You know what I'm saying? Like when I walk into Navy Federal, they don't have a sign that says Black people only. They probably used to, right? And maybe they could if they would. But at the time, that's not happening. So doing things, I think if most 17, 18-year-olds, their parents are like, hey, here's what we're going to do with you financially. So by the time you get out of college, you are set. And I think, so that's not something we have to die for. That's something we could do right now. So we do that, right? And let women be women. And here's what I mean. I'm not saying you be submissive and swing low, but like if you have a man in your presence, sometimes it's okay just to be quiet. Just to shut up, be quiet, swing low, and men step up. You know what I'm saying? Women nag, that's what they do, but most of the times because we ain't doing something right. But ladies, if they do it right, let the subject go. You know what I'm saying? Jeez, Lord have mercy. So, anyways.
Absolutely. So anyway, y'all, I would love to stay here with y'all, but unfortunately, I gotta go. I got a class to take at 7:00. And Walter, you doing your podcast tonight?
No, I'm not doing it tonight. I'm cooking for me.
Oh, he's cooking for him. Okay. So anyway, we'll be back next Wednesday with Walter, Wealth Wednesday with Walter. Of course, please, you guys, next time, please do not be shy to click the link. We love to see your beautiful faces. And so we'll be back. Donovan is going to the DR. So it might just be me on Sunday. I don't know. Maybe I'll have, if he doesn't show up because he's traveling, maybe I'll invite somebody to come on.
For his baby mama. Real quick, Jessica Jackson, hit me up. The answer is yes. You can buy property with no money down. I've done it more than once. So you can hit me up. I'm on Facebook, all that stuff. My sister knows how to find me.
Yes, indeed. And so, yeah, Walter's on Facebook. Look for Walter Lee Coulter. Is that what you're on Facebook? Walter Lee Coulter?
Yeah, it's me and my grandson. He looked like Casper the Ghost, but he is mine. So, yeah, that's me. And I'm friends with D, so you can find me that way too.
Yes, we are friends. So anyway, love and appreciate y'all. See y'all on Sunday. It might just be me. I don't know. We'll see. So I'll also invite you all to come on with me as well. So y'all have a great rest of the week. Love you dearly. Peace. Oh, I ain't ended.